Hello, welcome to my 6 months in the van video. I've been living a nomad lifestyle. I've been driving around in Canada. I started November 1st, right at the beginning of the Canadian winter, which I live in British Columbia, so it's a very nice climate compared to the rest of Canada. But either way, it was definitely an adventure.
I know you belong to somebody new, but tonight you belong to me. Although
Next question by Holistic Haley, which is she's a badass vegan in Victoria. What do you find the most challenging in this lifestyle? That's a good question. Obviously there's many challenges in this lifestyle. I found was parking. Sometimes parking can be tricky and a little stressful at first. I'm a lot better now, finding places to park and trying not to bother people. I never have had any incidents with police or anybody really. It's been really good so far, but it always stays on your mind. You're always a little bit stressed, but that goes with time. You get more and more confident with that stuff. I try to be very conscious of where I park, not to bother anybody, and so I'm not bothered in return. I try to be really respectful with noise, or even not having my lights on too long, just not to attract too much attention. Staying out of really busy areas. Another challenge would be limited space. I do live in a larger van. Head clearance is about, I would say, 6'4". Someone 6'4" could stand in easily. So I do have a lot of space, but sometimes it does get a little cramped in here if you have a couple people, some visitors. So space is definitely limited, so you do have to go towards the minimalizing of your life. Which I do enjoy the challenge of minimalizing, and I could still get rid of so much stuff in here. I do have a lot still. One thing I did struggle with a little bit was cooking. It's not that it's hard to cook in here. I do have a 4-burner stove and I have a sink that works with a pump. I do find myself eating out more at restaurants and also not cooking as much, which I do miss a little bit, but it's definitely possible. I just definitely noticed that on my side I did take some more shortcuts in just eating easier foods to eat, snacks, things like that. Another challenge, which is not a big deal at all, but you do have to stay extremely organized in this small space. Keeping everything strapped down, not having loose objects in when you're driving around. There's obviously this gets going when you hit bumps and stuff, and I've had things fly around like crazy. I feel like living in a mobile lifestyle is more freeing, or is it sometimes isolating? That's a pretty good question. I've been through both, actually. Personally, I find it more freeing than anything else. I've been way more open to finding new relationships with people, just going outside my bubble and going to talk to random people, or I just feel more free, and I don't know, it's hard to explain the feeling. And since I feel like you can make your home anywhere, really, it's very freeing feeling, and I surround myself with the people that I want to be with. So it's corny to say, but home is really wherever I decide to make it. Another question would be the monthly cost of living in a van, which is a very basic but important question if you are looking into this lifestyle. For me, I am saving a lot of money right now, so let me just throw out some numbers that I've kind of figured out for myself. For gas, I'll spend between, depending on how much I drive, obviously, I'll probably spend between $200 and $400 on gas. On food, I usually spend between probably $400 and $500 a month, because I do try to eat well, and I do eat out quite often with friends and things like that. Cell phone is about $110 a month. Insurance is about $100 as well. Oh, let's not forget about sick. Also, let's not forget about body heat is and was very helpful during the winter. Yeah, can't beat that really. Skip that. I have a little Mr. Buddy propane heater. It's not recommended for closed, confined areas, but I do have a CO2 monitor in case anything goes wrong. Next question, which is a funny question, but it's also a good one for certain people. What do my parents think about me living in a van? For me, it's pretty funny. Like, my dad's actually super pumped for me because he's a hippie / artist kind of guy. Such an adventurous guy. So he's actually really happy for me that I'm following what I want to do and what my dreams are. And my mom, she's totally fine with it. She hasn't really questioned it or anything. I can see how some parents, if they're very strict and straightforward towards like living the standard life, I can see them like having some pushback towards that. Do what you want to do. Dream on. Life is only here for a short period of time, so just dream and do what you want to do. Also, on the same question, you kind of referenced safety as being a girl in a van. I have met a couple girls that live in their van, and I don't think they've had any safety issues at all. Definitely have to be careful, be prepared. You could carry pepper spray or something like that, but it depends on where in the world you live. But here in Canada, I don't see any problems with safety. Quick advice on before buying a van, or even before thinking about getting into van life, definitely do your research. Watch more videos of people like me doing this. I think it took me about 3 months of research before even buying my van, and another 3 months before deciding I wanted to live in my van. So yeah, just take your time, really dive into the idea of being somewhat on your own and just living the nomad life on the road, where you do have to make some compromises. But if it's really what you want to do, just jump into it. Don't think about it too much. At the same time, I'm kind of contradicting myself, but just jump into it. That's what I did. Preferably start in the summertime. That's a good advice right there. How long do I think I'm going to live in the van for? That is unknown. I'm going to go with it. I think I'm going to go another year at least. I'm really enjoying it. And I do have a couple friends that might want to get an apartment just for a couple months in January, just so I can get through the hard winter months, maybe 2-3 months here and there, to reset and not have to worry about the winter colds in here, because it does get very cold. Also, touching on the subject of being prepared for van life, before you start doing that, just be ready for the idea that pictures on Instagram and videos on YouTube of everything being perfect, which we do have those moments in van life that you have that high of being alone in nature and on the road with no responsibilities. So keep in mind, this lifestyle is not for everybody. It's not the easiest thing some days. It's very freeing, but at the same time, it does involve some complications sometime. Just do your research. It's not always the dream, but it's well worth it if you have that type of personality that craves adventure and something different in life. So keep that in mind, please. Thanks so much for watching. Please follow me on Instagram. It's The Life of Chance. I appreciate all your questions today. I could not get to all of them. I'm still getting used to talking on the camera. So thanks for sticking with me this long. It's a long video, a lot of talking, which I'm not used to yet. Thanks for watching. Take care.